Welcome to the last video of the statistics unit. It is for percentile rank. And for percentile rank, we do have a formula for this. It is B over N times 100. So the B is the number below, or number less, or number fewer, or number lower. And N is the number of numbers. And when we divide those two numbers times 100, we will get our percentile rank. And what that tells us is just where we are in the group. So, for example, here we had some golfers, and they were hitting the ball. So one player hit it 310 yards. They drove it 275 yards. A third player 250. So these are all different players and the distance that the ball has gone. So what's the percentile rank for the person that hit it 275 yards? What we want to do is we want to find out how many players are below 275 yards. So let's go through and kind of count. Who's less than 275? Okay, this one is, so that's 1, 2. Okay, so it seems, 3. So there's 3 players that are below 275 out of the number of numbers, or how many players altogether? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in order to calculate this, we're going to do top divided by bottom and then times it by 100. And we always use a whole number as well. So we'll say that this is in the 38th percentile. And what that means is that 38% of the other players were lower than this player, or had a drive that was below that player. So a common mistake would be 275 and then people just say 1 because 1 is to the left. But it's not about left or right. You actually have to ask, is this number higher or lower? So let's go to the player with a 195-yard drive. How many players are below that? And if we look, nobody. This is the player. There's nobody below, so there's 0 below out of the 8 players. So this person, although that is really a good drive, I would take that, they're technically in the 0th percentile when you compare them to the other golfers in this tournament. And then lastly, the player that's at the 317-yard mark, when we look in this list, they are the highest. There's nobody below them, but that doesn't make them in the 100th percentile. And sorry, I shouldn't say that there's nobody below. Everybody's below them. But really, they're still part of this group. So there's 7 below out of the 8 players, because they're not below themselves. So technically, you can never be in the 100th percentile. This person's in the 88th percentile. So just as like a little word of warning, this is always a weird one. When you're at the top of the list, you're not in the 100th. You might be in the 99th percentile, but never in the 100th, because you can't be lower than yourself. So let's just continue with the same idea of the golfers, but just look at some more questions. And this first one is a little bit tough. So we know the percentile. So rather than trying to calculate the percentile, we know that we should be in the 75th percentile. We know that there's 8 players. So the thing that we're trying to do is find B. So we're trying to find out how many people are below us or have a shorter distance in their drive. So we're trying to get X by itself. So first of all, we have to take that percentile and bring it back into its decimal form. So we'll do the opposite of times by 100. We'll do divide by 100. And then we're going to get x by itself. So instead of dividing by 8, we'll times it by 8. Some of you know about cross multiplying, so you can do that as well. But either way, we're just trying to get x by itself. To be 6. So there are 6 players below. So given that, we could actually even figure out who you were in this list by seeing that this is the 7th highest one and that there's 6 below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 below. So you would actually be the person that drove 310 yards. In the last question, we're told that there's 5 players who drove the ball farther than you. So, different you. They drove the ball farther than you. What is your percentile rank? Well, we know that there's 8 total. So let's take away the 5 that are higher. Because I don't care about the higher. I need the lower. I need the ones that are below me. I have to ask the question, are there any that are the same as me? And in this case, there are none. It doesn't say that anybody drove the same amount as me. But so you would want to also subtract off the ones that are the same. And you want to take away 1 for yourself, or for whoever the person is. So if there's 8 altogether, minus the 5 that are higher, minus 1, should be left 2 lower. And now we can find our percentile rank. So top divided by bottom, times it by 100 to be the 25th percentile. So a little word of warning, when you see words like this, farther or higher or more, that you might have to create your B in order to do the percentile rank.